Everyone allowed Anthony Kiedis to destroy lives throughout his reign. He wasn't just a rock star. His predatory behavior operated under a seemingly innocent exterior. Millions of fans had worshipped him while singing his songs and continuing to fill his sold-out concerts for many years. In the shadow of his celebrity status, there existed a destructive behavioral pattern that destroyed victims' lives and cut them off from societal support. When he first encountered them, he made them feel as though a fantasy was becoming reality. Then, the manipulation started. The mind games. The control. He always grabbed them back after they attempted to exit through his sincere apologies, combined with luxury presents and meaningless promises. And if they spoke out? He possessed the ability to disappear them from existence. The music industry knew. The music fans chose to disregard all available indicators. The truth about his actions finally surfaces to the public. Too many stories exist that no one can disregard. The genuine question remains about how Anthony Kiedis could execute his manipulative behavior indefinitely. Anthony Kiedis experiences an extraordinary life as the well-known frontman for the Red Hot Chili Peppers music group. The public image of the singer fails to capture the life events from his youth, which radically influenced his future accomplishments. November 1st, 1962, marked the birth of Kiedis in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where he belonged to Margaret Peggy Noble and John Michael Kiedis. The separation of his parents occurred when he was 3 years old, thus forcing him to live mainly with his mother since then. His life during junior years in Michigan followed a standard pattern of school and music, with emerging theatrical ambitions. The 12-year-old Kiedis left Michigan behind when he relocated to Los Angeles to reside with his father. The nickname Blackie characterized the father of Anthony Kiedis, who used to spend his time in the Hollywood entertainment scene. The struggling actor maintained a drug-dealing side job, which exposed the young Anthony to completely different lifestyles than those from his previous structure-driven environment. While living in Los Angeles, Kiedis encountered a lifestyle including interactions with prominent celebrities who regularly attended nighttime parties where social rules blurred continuously. His time in Los Angeles deeply influenced his views about life as well as his creativity through its impact on his choices. The academic challenges of his environment did not prevent Kiedis from achieving excellence in all his classes. The three boys met at Fairfax High School, where Kiedis discovered his closest bonds with Michael Flea Balzery and Hillel Slovak, who later became central members of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Kiedis developed a deep friendship with their music-sharing interest, which later caused them to create the world-famous rock band known as the Red Hot Chili Peppers. The formation of the Red Hot Chili Peppers occurred after the band achieved worldwide success, although Kiedis managed these accomplishments despite his serious personal obstacles. He entered UCLA after high school education before abandoning his studies at the outset. The passage from youth to maturity brought him an unsettling experience. His unsettled domestic environment forced him to move continuously from one living space to another, sometimes resorting to desperate measures to get by. But one constant remained: his love for music and the friendships he had built. It was during this time that he became more involved in the Los Angeles music scene. His friends, particularly Flea and Slovak, were already deep into their musical journeys, and their passion inspired him to find his voice. While he initially had no formal musical background, his natural stage presence and unique lyrical style set him apart. In 1983, Anthony Kiedis, Flea, Hillel Slovak, and Jack Irons played their first show at the Rhythm Lounge in Hollywood. What was meant to be a single performance turned into something electric, so electric that the club owner immediately asked them to return. With their unique blend of punk, funk, and raw energy, the band was unlike anything the Los Angeles music scene had ever witnessed. During that period, Flea and his bandmates maintained their membership in new wave and rock bands. Kiedis joined the performance without musical skills, yet contributed by support and dancing to bring excitement to the audience. An outsider once proposed to let Anthony be part of your band, which seemed absurd at first. The plan was initially ruled out as goofy nonsense. At that time, Kiedis lacked experience in music, and he did not possess any professional background to perform on stage. But they gave him a shot. The first time he joined as a singer-songwriter, Kiedis both wrote the lyrics and sang the songs, and it felt incredible when they played their debut performance together. They couldn't stop. Since that beginning, the band has continued indefinitely. Their shows became legendary. During their early shows, the band appeared barefoot because socks served as their only stage attire. The record industry swiftly started showing interest after the music labels began to take notice. EMI Records selected them and released the group's debut album with a self-titled title in 1984. During their period of success, new problems started to appear. Slovak and Irons decided to move on with another project, which caused the band to bring new members to fill the vacancies. Lineup adjustments did not stop the Chili Peppers from their ascent to success. The band collaborated with George Clinton to record an album by living in his home during production. Living with George Clinton provided non-stop musical experiences together with continuous party life and an environment that fostered creativity at every turn. The fantastical aspects of the story contained various unglamorous elements. During his addiction, Kiedis interpreted his withdrawal signs as a case of food poisoning. Performing under the influence of drugs became an obstacle to his singing since he used any available substance to keep going. During their period of rising popularity, they started to develop serious internal issues. Between 1986, their drug intake continued deteriorating until 1986 showcased the beginning of their complete descent. Part of the $55,000 funding provided by the label to produce their next album was secretly designated to buy heroin and cocaine. It took a toll on the band's performance, and Kiedis often showed up to rehearsals half-conscious, unable to focus. At one point, the band reached out to Rick Rubin, hoping he would produce their next album. He refused. Their reputation as reckless, drug-fueled musicians made him walk away. Kiedis himself was briefly fired due to his addiction. Things had reached a breaking point. Despite the chaos, their popularity kept rising. They were named LA Weekly's Band of the Year, pushing Kiedis to reflect on the damage he was doing to himself. He checked into rehab, spending 20 days at a Salvation Army facility in Michigan. For the first time since he was 11 years old, he was completely sober. Moving in with his mother, he started to rebuild himself. But the journey wasn't over. The battle between music, fame, and addiction would continue to shape the Red Hot Chili Peppers for years to come. Time passed until Kiedis faced a significant point in his life. The Uplift Mofo party plan established the band's success, yet drug dependency threatened to destroy their existence. Together with his bandmate, Hillel Slovak, he promised they would eliminate their addictions at the same time. Addiction ignores all promises because it controls the decision-making process. Slovak could not find a way out. Thus, he disappeared one day. Just like that. After the loss, how did Kiedis manage to pull himself together? By running. After the funeral, Kiedis left the city behind him while fighting his feelings of responsibility. Such an occurrence should alert someone to change their ways, or it should have at least done so. He descended further instead of lifting himself out. Despite his erratic behavior and vanishing recording sessions, the following few years brought total wreckage after his mysterious disappearance. The band operated on the brink of dissolution when they even considered their upcoming record would not appear. Truth be told about Anthony Kiedis, he perjured past every death prediction to return to fighting. Mother's Milk launched them to success that resulted in their becoming superstars with blood, sugar, sex, magic. Under the Bridge gained worldwide popularity, but Kiedis continued his downward slide during that time. That song? The song functioned as both a popular hit and an emotional divulgence from Kiedis. During his most depressed period of life, he roamed Los Angeles streets hoping to find something which would inevitably lead to his downfall. The difficult circumstances he endured failed to kill him, But the cycle never ends, right? What if I tell you that your favorite rock star destroyed lives? The incident that started the whole thing occurred when Kiedis got removed from an NBA game in 2018. At that time, Kiedis engaged in a fiery clash with Chris Paul while achieving the peak of his rough existence. Kiedis experienced this outburst as the final expression of years' worth of damaging conduct. The public already knew Kiedis as a drug addict because, during his worst days, he conceded to being a torn-up rag doll of a human being. Kiedis faced continuous legal issues while he stole cars, ended up in prison, and frequently teetered on the brink of insanity during that specific time. According to Flea, his bandmate shared the thoughts, "Jesus Christ, I can't rely on this freak, he's dying out there." Kiedis kept rising to fame while dealing with his difficulties. A sexual battery conviction struck Anthony Kiedis in 1989 while the band performed their Mother's Milk tour because he exposed his genitals to a woman and made her touch him. The harmless prank defense did not stop him from getting fined after exposing the crime. Flea and Chad Smith were indicted for battery offenses after they threw a woman onto the sand before demanding inappropriate handling from her during the second year. The immoral behavior of the band members continued after they admitted guilt to their various offenses. The alarming incidents occurred without restriction to women of any specific age group. In his memoir, Kiedis revealed the story of sleeping with a 14-year-old while admitting his awareness of her age. The narrative about the incident passes through his lips without sincere regret, as if he wanted to flaunt it. Even though evidence never existed to confirm the situation, it marks a permanent negative mark that taints his lasting record. Kiedis even went on to write a song and make a music video about the girl. How can a man who continues to target younger women remain a hero to many? There's more. Kiedis wasn't done with his controversial relationships. In his early 20s, he began dating Ione Skye, who was only 16 at the time. The relationship lasted for years, and even as he got older, Kiedis's preference for younger women persisted. In 2012, he was dating an 18-year-old model while he was in his 50s. This pattern of dating young women raises uncomfortable questions about his intentions and his respect for boundaries. Aside from his approach, Kiedis showed objectification toward women by writing songs that reproduced similar behavior. Popular lyrics contained hypersexual elements which portrayed the successful man having the freedom to conduct himself any way he chose. The amazing part about this discovery is that Kiedis released music full of those problematic themes. Yet he flatly refused to face any responsibility for what he did. Right after overcoming his historical substance abuse, his problematic treatment of women has never ceased. The law in Louisiana updated its regulations about statutory rape during August 2024, which means Anthony Kiedis could get prosecuted for his offense even though years have passed since the original incident. The problem is, Kiedis fails to show any indication that he has gained wisdom from past mistakes. The combination of drug addiction, risky activities, and sexual abuse has failed to change his approach to treating people around him. The public continues to worship the musician, but multiple groups debate whether his musical accomplishments should determine his enduring recognition or if his previous wrongdoings will permanently stain his legacy. Kiedis' life tells us about how fame comes with dangerous behaviors and why public figures sometimes do not face proper responsibility for their actions. His erratic lifestyle creates unanswerable doubts about whether he can reform or if his self-built path to self-destruction will always keep him captive. The story isn't over yet. Over time, Kiedis may face the consequences of his actions because his complete accountability record continues to emerge. The entire world might discover the extent of shady elements behind this rock star's true narrative when awareness reaches them about his undercover story. That remains to be seen. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and comment.